We are looking at the original foundation of the Salt Lake Temple. I'm standing in an area beneath what was the garden room. As I examine the craftsmanship of this entire building, I marvel at what the pioneers accomplished. I am totally in awe when I consider that they built this magnificent temple with only tools and techniques available to them more than a century ago. These many decades later, however, if we examine the foundation closely, we can see the effects of erosion, gaps in the original stonework, and varying stages of stability in the masonry. Now, as I witness what modern engineers, architects, and construction experts can do to reinforce that original foundation, I am absolutely amazed. Their work is astonishing. The foundation of any building, particularly one as large as this one, must be strong and resilient enough to withstand earthquakes, corrosion, high winds, and the inevitable settling that affects all buildings. The complex task of strengthening, now underway, will reinforce this sacred temple with a foundation that can and will stand the test of time. My dear brothers and sisters, these are the latter days. If you and I are to withstand the forthcoming perils and pressures, it is imperative that we each have a firm spiritual foundation built upon the rock of our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. So I ask each of you, how firm is your foundation? And what reinforcements to your testimony and understanding of the gospel are needed?
About 12 years ago, I had some health issues that made it really, really hard for me to go to the temple. And I remember one time just trying to focus during the session, and I struggled with, I would either pass out or have panic attacks. And so I'd just have to look down at the floor and concentrate on my breathing. And I remember finishing the session and just crying because it was so hard. And I was trying to do what was right and go to the temple. And I remember driving past the temple and just thinking, I love to see the temple. I'm going there someday. And there was about 9 months that I just wasn't able to even do a whole session with my health struggles. And then I was able to find some help and slowly was able to go back and do initiatory and shorter things, ordinances. And eventually I was able to stay through the whole session. And it was so amazing. And then when the session finished, I cried tears of joy because I loved the spirit I felt there, the calm reassurance. And that's what I always feel when I go to the temple. I feel the love God has for us, his healing and strengthening power, and I'm so grateful to have a temple so close to us.
I love going to the temple, especially when I'm feeling weak or just need a little extra strength for my foundation. Throughout the week, as I reflect on the experience I had there, I always find peace and clarity to the questions that I've taken. It doesn't matter what kind of service you're doing, whether it's cleaning, just walking the grounds, or going inside and doing a session. I always feel an added measure of the Spirit when I leave.
I would like to share one of the many building blocks that has helped me build my spiritual foundation for the temple. I was cleaning one evening, dusting, and I looked at one of the pictures of the Savior, and I suddenly felt such an overwhelming knowledge that he loved me and he appreciated my very small sacrifice of coming and cleaning his house that evening. So grateful for the temple, grateful for how it gives me peace, and for the promise of protection and power for my family.
The temple is a still, calm, quiet place. The more time I spend in the temple, the calmer I feel inside. This improved stillness in my personal life has given me a greater ability to recognize the quiet whispers of the Spirit. As a temple worker, I have the privilege of participating not only in my own temple experience, but often in the personal experience of a patron as well. This has given me a front row seat to the tender hand of the Lord as He does His work orchestrating the small and simple details for those who are attending the temple. These small details could easily go unnoticed or thought of only as coincidence, but I have seen His tender hand in the moment-by-moment details of those attending the temple too often to brush it off as simply coincidence. President Nelson promised that every sincere seeker of Jesus Christ will find Him in the temple. I have seen this blessing of this promise in my own temple journey. I know He is in the temple both symbolically and literally. Sisters, we invite each of you to reflect on your temple journey. How have your temple experiences strengthened your spiritual foundation?